to tell you some horror stories, but these are all either true or inspired by true events. So let's begin. First story is called The Dollhouse. This happened in the 1980s in a house in England. A young mother was living in the home with her two daughters when they started playing with a new dollhouse that had been given to them as a present. The mother couldn't understand why her daughters were so drawn to the toy at first, but then she noticed that the dolls that came with it bore an uncanny resemblance to her and her children. She also had the strange feeling that they were watching her, but when she told her husband about it, he said that this was just a silly game and that she should stop being so overprotective of their children. And sure enough, their daughters were happy playing with their new toy. It wasn't long before the family moved into the house though, and one day the mother was taking out the trash when she heard her youngest daughter laughing hysterically. She went inside to investigate and found her daughter playing with the dolls from the dollhouse. But this time she noticed something disturbing. It seemed as if the girl was talking to the dolls and they were responding to her. At first she thought maybe the voices were coming from a TV or radio somewhere nearby. But no, the voices were coming from the dolls themselves. When the mother confronted her daughter about it, the child looked confused and frightened and insisted that the voices were coming from inside the dollhouse. The mother threw the dolls away immediately, never wanting to see them again. But that was when things got really scary. From that day forward, the mother would hear disembodied laughter echoing around the house, as well as the sound of footsteps. And sometimes at night she would wake up feeling as if someone had been sitting on her chest, making it hard for her to breathe. One day, the mother's brother-in-law suggested that the home may be haunted and that is why she and her family were experiencing all these terrifying events. But still, none of them wanted to move out because no one could prove that the home was haunted. Then one day when the family was having dinner, they heard chains dragging metal moans. Family was so scared that they all ran to hide in a room together until it was over. That's when the father decided enough was enough. He called a priest and asked him to perform an exorcism in the home. And although nothing happened during the ceremony afterwards, the family was finally able to relax and feel safe in their home again. Now, as for what happened to the dollhouse and the dolls, no one knows. And now for my next story. This one is called No Face. This happened in Argentina. A young woman was babysitting a 6-year-old girl while her parents were out for the evening. They left the television on for the girl to watch, and when the mom left, she specifically instructed the babysitter not to let the little girl watch anything scary. But later, the babysitter went into the kitchen to get some snacks for herself, and when she turned back to the living room, she saw that the girl was watching a horror movie. She quickly changed the channel, but the girl asked her why she didn't like that show. She explained that it was too scary for her, but the girl was adamant that there was nothing scary about the show at all. The girl even begged the babysitter to let her watch it just for a few minutes, and since the babysitter didn't want to be a party pooper, she reluctantly agreed. She sat down with the girl to watch the show, and soon the girl started screaming. The girl screamed for a very long time, and then suddenly she stopped. She stared straight ahead, and a sinister smile crept across her face. Her eyes also seemed to glow an eerie red in the dark. The babysitter tried to calm her down, but the girl wouldn't respond to her. She just kept staring at the TV with a creepy expression on her face. And then the phone rang. It was the girl's mother. She asked the babysitter how everything was going, and the babysitter responded nervously that everything was fine. But as soon as the mother hung up the phone, the girl began crying again. She cried for quite a while before finally calming down and returning to her usual self. The babysitter breathed a sigh of relief and spent the rest of the evening playing games with the girl until her parents returned. As soon as the mother picked her daughter up, she rushed the babysitter outside to tell her that she needed to talk to her about what had happened during the evening. But when the babysitter told her what had occurred, the mother didn't believe her. She insisted that her daughter would never watch such a scary movie, and certainly wouldn't have the ability to turn the TV channel by herself. The babysitter was confused because she had definitely seen the girl watching the movie, and she had seen her change the channel. But she didn't want to argue with the mother, so she just shrugged her shoulders and said that maybe she was mistaken. The mother thanked her for watching her daughter and sent her on her way. But a week later, the babysitter was watching the news and she saw a report about a 6-year-old girl who had died after watching a horror movie on TV. The girl had suffered a heart attack from fright and it was ruled an accident. But the babysitter knew it wasn't an accident. had seen the girl's eyes glow red when she watched the show, and she was certain that the girl was possessed by a demon. And now for my last story. This one is called Tunnel. A man was driving through the countryside when he realized that he was lost. He had been driving for a very long time, and the sun was starting to set, which meant that it would soon be dark. He pulled over to the side of the road to look at his map and tried to figure out where he was. And that's when he saw it. It was a dirt road that looked like it led to a house. He figured it was worth a shot to drive down it and hopefully find some help. He turned his car around and headed in that direction. As he drove along the path, he noticed that the trees on either side of the road were getting thicker and thicker, eventually forming a tunnel above him. He thought it was quite odd, but he was too preoccupied with trying to figure out where he was to notice anything else. But driving down the road for what felt like hours, he finally saw a light in the distance. He sped up, and soon he was pulling into the driveway of a large house. He knocked on the door, and a woman answered. He explained that he was lost and asked if he could use her phone to call for help. She told him that he was welcome to do so and invited him in for some tea. He accepted her offer, and as he sat down at the table, he noticed a picture frame on the wall. Inside was a photo of the woman, and the man's face was visible in the reflection of the glass. The man's blood ran cold as he realized that the woman had been waiting for him in that house for who knows how long. Had probably lured him there with the light so that she could capture him. And who knows what else. That's all for today. Hopefully you liked the video, and if you did, please hit that thumbs up button. Bye.